fifth grade, it's Miss Frannis, and we are continuing our lessons on searching. And we started Boolean searching last week, and we're going to kind of continue it this week. But I wanted to show you and remind you that you can do Boolean searching. Remember, in your card catalog, there's the basic way of searching, and then Boolean searching is also known as power searching, at least in our Destiny card catalog. And when you do, remember, you can type in phrases, and you can use the and or not to find books that really interest you. For example, I love murder mysteries because I love to try to figure things out. So I can do, my keyword could be murder, and my keyword could be mystery, or I could put kidnapping. So I can see when I search what books will come up, because it's searching for just this really specific books. This is what they're searching for, so very specific. So I have murder and mystery or kidnapping. So let's see what I come up with when I click my search button. Ooh, I come up with 93 books I can choose from. And remember, you can click on Show All, and it will show you all the books, except I should have done not young adult, because some of these are young adult books and you can't check them out quite yet. In 6th grade you can, but not in 5th. So remember, you just click on the title, read the summary. When you click on See All, you know right away this is a young adult. Darn! It is available, and this would be the call number, but you can't check it out yet. So pretty soon. Then you go back to library search, and then you can start all over again. And since that is what we're going to be working on, and or not, I thought I would remind you how to use Boolean searching, or power searches, as we call it here in the card catalog system, how you can do that when you do your research. So today, this is what we're going to be doing here. So somewhere in your paper you can write and or not, because those are the 3 words we're going to be using, and or not, and that'll help us, just like it did with our card catalog searches. That'll help us find books that we really need, or what we really want maybe. So our question here is, what are the major problems of famous sports stars today? So we're going to find the keywords, and we're going to pretend like we're searching our computer, and then we're going to combine those words to create a more narrow search. So our first one is, what are the major problems of famous sports stars today? Well, of course, the keywords are sports stars, comma sports, comma problems. Because we need to link those together with either and or not. That's weird to say. And or not. So when we link them, we have to look at our question. So what are the major problems of famous sports stars today? Since we're looking for major problems of famous sports stars, really we only need to use one search term. So it would be sports stars and sports and problems. So you have to think of it this way. What are the major problems of famous sports stars today? Well, we want to talk about sports stars, and we want to talk about sports, and we want to talk about problems. We don't want to exclude anything. That's what not would do. Not would actually exclude those things, and we don't want to exclude any of them. We don't want to talk about sports stars and sports, not problems. We don't want to do an or, sports stars or sports or problems, because that's not how our question reads. We want to hook them all together to find those books on sports stars and sports and problems. So be very careful when you are doing those words, connecting those words for your searches, so you come up with the best books. And read those questions, because they will guide you to let you know what search terms to use. So what do you need to know about packing for a vacation trip. So of course it's packing, comma vacation, comma trip. So packing is going to be our search term, first word. And what do you think is going to go there? If you said and, you were correct because you want to do packing and vacation. And then what will you go here between vacation and trip? And you got to think for a second, are vacation and trip basically the same word? So if they're basically the same word, that's when you use that or, because you want to search for vacation or trip. So you're going to find books on that say that they're for packing and vacation, or you're going to find books on packing or trip. So because they're so similar, that's when you use that or, because you can kind of interchange them. So it doesn't matter if you're talking about vacation or trip, it's basically the same thing, so that's why you use or. What do vitamins have to do with nutrition? This is easy. There's only two to work with this time. Vitamins, comma nutrition. And of course our search term is vitamins. What do you think our search term would be, and or not? What do vitamins have to do with nutrition? If you said and, you are correct. Because vitamins will link with nutrition, because that's what you want to do. You want to find out what vitamins and nutrition have to do with your health. So that's why you use the and one there. How do newspapers explain the events of history? So of course, newspapers, history, comma history. So our search term is newspapers. And what would be our search term that we would use? How do newspapers explain the events of history? If you said and, you are correct, because you are linking newspapers and history together. You're not saying newspapers are history. Nope, because you want to know what they have to do with each other. And you're not saying newspapers not history, because you want everything to do with history. So if you said newspapers not history, you would get current events and everything that's going on today. So that's why you wouldn't use not, because you don't want to exclude that. What do you need to know about caring for a pet? So we have pet, basically pet care, and pet. So keywords are pet care, because you want to learn about caring for a pet, which is pet care, and of course pet. It would sound a little weird if you put care. So you have to think, what are you caring for? You're caring for your pet. That's why you want to put pet care and not just care, because you're like, care what? So that's why you want to show what you're trying to care for. So that's why we put pet in front of care, because you're trying to find more about pet care. And then of course pet. So our search term is pet care. And then what would be our linking word there? If you said and, you were correct. Pet care or pet, that would bring up a ton of searches, because or means more. If you did not, you would have pet care but not your pet, which would defeat what the purpose of the question is. So that's why we do pet care and pet. How does weather patterns in other parts of the world affect the weather in your area? So in your area, we can actually change that to mean something else, and you could do in your area, but we can change it to one word that would help your search go more smoothly. So in your area also means local, your local weather. And I'm sure if you watch the Weather Channel, it's the local on the 7s. So you could do, instead of in your area, you could do local. Now you could do in your area too, it's just longer to type, because you have to think, what are other words that would help me search better? So in your area, we can just equal that and we can put local. So it would be weather patterns comma weather, comma world, and then comma local. You could put in your area, but why not shorten it? So what would you do? How would you link it together if you were looking for weather patterns in other parts of the world and how they affect it in our area? You're really only going to use one linking word there, and it's going to be and, because you want to see how it all fits together. You don't want to exclude anything, and nothing is really the same, so you can't really use or in that case. So it's all going to be and. So you're going to link them all together with and. And weather, and world, and local. Or you can say in your area too. So that is how you use and or not. Then on the back, it is orange, you ready to search. Well, I hope so, because we have done a lot of work with our Boolean searches, or as we call them, power searches on our card catalog system. We're going to read each situation below, decide what type of search will help you, match each situation in the search that will give you the best results, write the letter on the line. So the first is, you heard that The Orange Who Wore Tennis Shoes is a funny book. Who is the author? So would you do a keyword search, orange and cooking? Would you do an author search in orange, a subject search for tennis, a title search, Orange Who Wore Tennis Shoes, or a keyword search for oranges? Well, if you're looking for the author, then I would assume you would do what? Well, you don't know the author, do you? So you can't do an author search. I was trying to trick you there. So if you heard that The Orange Who Wore Tennis Shoes is a funny book, but you don't know the author, then what are you going to do? You are going to do a title search, The Orange Who Wore Tennis Shoes, so you can find out who the author is. So I bet the first thing you thought of, oh, I'll just search for the author. Well, you can't, because you don't know. So you have to search for the title, and that'll help you find that author, and then you can find those books. Remember, last name first, comma, first name last. Number 2, you need to gather a lot of information about oranges for a report. You want to know every book that your library has that mentions oranges. So you're going to do a keyword search for oranges and cooking, author search for oranges, subject search for tennis, or keyword search for oranges. And if you remember, keyword searches bring up the most, so you are going to do a keyword search for oranges, and that's what you would do. Number 3, and oranges are on sale at the grocery store. You need some creative recipes using oranges. Are you going to do a keyword search for orange and cooking, an author search for orange, or a subject search for tennis? Well, obviously, you probably know C's pretty much doesn't work. So there's 2 other available options there, but if you look closely, you want to do a keyword search because you want to find some recipes. So you do a keyword search on oranges and cooking. Number 4, your kid brother loves a series of books by somebody named Orange. You want to check one out for him, but you don't know the author's first name. Do you do a keyword search or, oops, you already did that one, cross that one off. Do you want to do an author search for orange or a subject search for tennis? And of course, you know the last name, so you're going to do an author search for orange, even though it's best to do last name first, comma, space, first name last. If you only have the last name, put the last name in, then you'll find out who the author is. So that is B. And finally, the gym teacher is offering free tennis lessons after school. You want to know more about the game of tennis. Of course, it's going to be a subject search for tennis because you want to know you want books only about that particular subject, which is tennis. Well, boys and girls, I hope this helps you do a little more research and understand how to use those Boolean search terms. I'll see you next week. Bye.